It's been 3 long years since we last saw the Master Chief. Is Halo 5 Guardians the return we were all expecting? Find out in this review. Halo 5 on the surface has everything a seasoned Halo fan could want, right? A more gritty single-player campaign that expands upon the universe that the previous installments have built up. A fully fleshed out multiplayer experience that improves upon the last game and changes a few things to keep players refreshed and engaged. But are these things really what Halo fans want? Simple answer, kind of. The single player starts off with the Master Chief in pursuit of Cortana. Now, without going into too much detail, this upsets Dr. Halsey, and she sends Spartan Locke and his team to retrieve John and bring him back to her. The entire premise of the campaign has shifted from previous installments. In the older games, you always played as Master Chief, with Cortana being your AI sidekick. However, in Halo 5, they opted to force the player to play as Spartan Locke and Master Chief, with the former being the majority of the campaign. It feels like 343 is trying to expand onto the universe and introducing more characters into the mix, the big one being Buck, played by Nathan Fillion. As someone who has played through 4 campaigns with Chief in the driver's seat, I have to say, I was a little bit let down by the Locke majority for a number of reasons. A. Locke's character had little to no development. I didn't feel attached to him, nor his fire team. If they would have died halfway through and we would have lost a character, I wouldn't have cared. And that's simply down to writing and the personality that plays Locke. He's a very one-dimensional, kind of a boring character. The mechanics behind running a fire team in Halo are pretty bad, considering the story recycles the same boss fight several times, and that boss actually having a crit spot on his back. I felt very limited by AI teammates. They were essentially there to revive me as I fought the onslaught of enemies by myself. I could direct their attacks, yes, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough to keep me entertained. Let's talk about length. Yes, size does matter in this case, and Halo just doesn't hit that spot. A campaign that took me about 5 hours to complete, with 2 out of the 15 missions taking less than a minute each, the overall single-player experience seemed very rushed and incomplete. Now, take Master Chief out of the equation for the majority of the gameplay session, and it's just a match made in hell. Now, moving on to multiplayer, where I myself spend most of the time. Arena is your classic Halo playlist, and the base game comes packed with Team Arena, Slayer, Breakout, Free-for-all, and my all-time personal favorite, SWAT. Each playlist requires you to play 10 matches and then places you into a bracket similar to games like League of Legends. So you have 5 ranked brackets: Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Each bracket has 6 ranks, and if you rank up into a higher bracket, you can never ever rank down into a previous bracket. After Diamond, you move into Onyx, where your CSR is now your rank. This ranking structure is familiar and, in my opinion, the best way to do online matchmaking, keeping things balanced once everybody's placed into brackets, and it never really feels like you're getting totally pub stomped and being destroyed by higher ranked players. The gameplay is solid, with gun control feeling tight and player movement feeling right. They've added boosters similar to Call of Duty, as well as the aerial stomp to dominate players from above, but the biggest change comes in the ADS. Yes, you can now aim down sight similar to every other FPS on the market, yet somehow it just kind of feels natural in Halo 5. These changes are a perfect balance, keeping the old-style gameplay alive, but changing enough to keep the style progressing and moving forward, because we all know we're getting a Halo 6 eventually. So this is a nice, progressing, balancing act, and I think the developers did a really great job. Now, where the multiplayer is lacking is on overall content. I find myself playing the same map rotation over and over and over, and after a week, I am very familiar with every map on SWAT and Breakout in the game. This leads me to believe that because we are receiving our map packs for free, 343 opted to launch with less maps. Why? I have no idea. With Warzone dropping and being the big 12-on-12 map, I've played it a few times, and it's really not my style. It's very chaotic. There's a lot of stuff going on. If you were a fan of bigger style games like that, I think you're going to have a good time, especially if you're a Halo fan. It's what every Halo fan thinks about when they think of these huge wars between the Covenant and the Spartans. So I think that's a really good mix. I myself, I'm not a fan of it. it, but I can see the appeal. Before we get to the review scores, I do want to say, if you guys haven't seen my first impressions video, I do cover the graphics of this game. The graphics to me are great. That being said, we are shooting for 60 frames a second with this title. In doing so, the Xbox has to kind of counterbalance, and they have what is called a dynamic resolution. So what happens is, in order to keep the Xbox able to run this game at 60 frames, the resolution changes from 1080p to 720p to like 1152 by 840. And to me, I feel that that is just not good enough for this generation. Like I said, graphics still look good. I just wish that they could look as polished as they did back when we first got to the 360. If you guys remember the jump from Halo 2 to 3, it was amazing. The jump from Halo 4 to 5, not so much. Overall, I think Halo 5 is a great advancement from 4. However, I still feel that it doesn't hold a candle to the first 3 games that made Microsoft millions of dollars. I give this game a 3 out of 5. As always, guys, I want to hear your opinions. Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree? Have you played the game? Let me know. You can follow me on Twitter at BigFryTV. You can leave a comment down below. I ask that you guys share this video so we can get it out to the masses. Hit that like button, and I want to thank you guys for watching.